Hi, welcome to the Mulls on Mission podcast. I'm Philip,
And I'm Anna.
and this is our podcast. All right, are you ready for stupid question time?
Let's go.
Okay. Anna, what is the best question you have ever been asked?
Um, so first one that comes to mind,
Uh-huh.
one that was truly life-changing,
Oh?
was, will you marry me?
Ah.
That
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
that was a pretty big question.
It's a good. What is it like to be asked that question? I wouldn't know. I was never asked that question.
Well, you were there.
I was there.
It renders you speechless and you don't remember what came like the whatever you said before, whatever was said right before that question and right after that question. You don't really remember. Your
Okay.
brain kind of um goes glitchy.
Yeah.
And you just don't really remember.
Yeah.
It was like it was sweet
Uh-huh.
and probably profound in some way.
Yeah.
And you wish that you could remember it, but the emotions are just so high that
All of it goes right out the
it's
window.
it's kind of like in a moment of like a fight or flight, like that. You realize it's happening.
Yeah,
And
you wanted to run when I asked you that question. Is that what you're saying?
No.
You wanted to punch me when I asked you that question.
Well, you've seen people react that way. No, I was in the freeze.
Okay, yeah,
But like how your brain kind of disconnects.
yeah. The implications are too big. We cannot process this information.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it feels like. The other question though that is highly impactful,
Mm-hmm.
that actually I'm asked often
Oh.
by the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
is, will you trust me again?
Mm.
Will you trust me one more time?
Mm-hmm.
That question is always, I mean, when the Lord says it, it's always at a very poignant time
Yeah.
and cuts right to the
Uh-huh.
heart of whatever I'm
Yep.
bringing to him. But I mean, spoiler alert for what we're going to be talking about later, about our just the last year.
Yeah.
There've been several times of in the past couple years of our life where things were hard and I would be complaining to God or crying out to God or whatever the case may be at the time, and he comes with, will you trust me again?
Yeah.
And all of my guards just come down with that question for some reason. So yeah, I remember writing that one down in my journal once, and I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Will you trust me one more time?
Yeah.
And one more time, and one more time. Like,
Yeah.
it's that journey of trust. And I'm guessing I'm going to be asked that question a lot more in my life.
What? You're saying trust isn't just a once done, always done?
And I think that's why the Lord keeps saying it one
Yeah.
more time.
Yeah.
I think that's why he phrased it that way.
Yeah.
For me specifically, is I kind of think like once I have something cognitively down,
Uh-huh.
that I should just operatively have it down.
Yeah.
And there's that streak of perfectionism and desiring to be the best I can be all the time. And I think the Lord phrases it one more time because it's a step.
Yeah.
And it's another step. It's
Yep.
a journey. So I don't have to have all the trust right now.
Yeah.
Just for this one thing, will you trust me again? But I think the phrasing one more time was also very very poignant.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Very cool.
That wasn't a very stupid question, actually.
No. But it may be in some ways self-aggrandizing, because maybe I was hoping that one of my previous questions on this podcast would have been the best question you've ever been asked. But I think
Which would win?
I have a little bit to which would win. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. For those of you who don't remember, it's which would win, a lion or a shark. And you just leave it at that. You give no further details to the question. You just ask someone what would win, a lion or a shark. And it's a YouTube video that it's funny. I like it. My answer is it's like one of those things where if you were to tell someone this was one of the most impactful questions of my life, they would be like, "Are you kidding me?" Because it's not a very profound question, but just the way it hit me at the time it hit me,
hits you today.
I still think about it. It was when I was working. I was getting very frustrated with the particular task that I was trying to troubleshoot or fix on this airplane. This is while I was an apprentice mechanic, so I'm still learning. And I was getting very frustrated and flustered to the point where I went to my boss and I was just like, I give up. I can't figure it out. It's too much for me. I was probably a little whiny, a little pouty. And my boss, who was the right boss for me at this time in my life, he looked at me with a slight smirk and he asked me, "Do you need to get your big boy pants on?" And there are a few times in my life where it was like I was given a Matrix moment of choose the red pill or the blue pill. And the red pill was rage and lash out with physical violence because of how frustrated that question made me. And the other was to recognize the truth in that question and say, okay, I need to stop getting upset. I need to think. I need to figure out this problem. And I did choose the latter, and I still think about that question when I'm like, I can't figure this thing out. It's just too much for me. It's like, all right, let me put my big boy pants on, calm down, just keep working the problem.
And that is something I see you do regularly with all kinds of things of that, things are not working.
Yeah.
And you're comfortable with the trial and error and the multiple fails to get to a solution that I really admire because I hate that. No one's ever asked me to put my big girl panties on, and so maybe that's the problem.
Yeah. Should that be a solution for me? Should I start asking you that question?
I don't think that would be healthy.
You don't think that would go well for us? In relationship?
I think there could be some issues there. I might choose the red pill, and then we have real problems.
Oh, that's funny.
But you don't get to that point of throw in the towel frustration. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen you do that.
I got pretty close on that Mazda.
Oh, that's fair.
I got really close. I had a Mazda, and I sold it just a few months ago. It had a transmission issue that I tore it apart a couple times, tried to fix, couldn't figure out what the problem was. Ended up having to sell it at a way reduced price to someone who did know what they were going to do with it. But that one got me close.
And I guess you didn't actually fix that problem.
I did not fix that
problem.
problem.
Well, you fixed the problem by selling it to somebody else.
Yes, I did. I offloaded that problem to somebody else. Yeah.
But that is a really good skill to have, and one that I look to you for sometimes when I'm feeling frustrated. Like, I need your steady, even keeled, try this till it works. I hope our son is like you.
We'll see. We'll see what happens if I ever have to ask him that question. But all right, so that's our question segment. All right, welcome to the. This is going to be a little bit different of an update section, since, and I don't know if you're aware, it has been one calendar year since we have been fully a part of, on board with, employed by, partnered with. I don't really know what to say. We have been with Wycliffe for 1 year.
Insert party emoji.
Woo! Little cracking confetti cannon thing, whatever that emoji is. I don't really know. I just know there's confetti, so it implies celebration.
Yes, there's a couple of them.
Yep.
I was picturing the little face with the
Oh, yeah.
the blow
yeah,
thingy.
yeah. The little blower.
What was that? Yes.
Okay, great. That's my Foley work.
Good.
I hope you all like it.
It's good.
So we're going to do something a little different since it's been a year. This is going to be kind of a year in review episode. So we're going to talk about what happened this past year and then also talk about what's coming in the next year or so for us. So just giving everyone a nice recap, reset, so that you're very aware of what's going on with us. Yeah. So we joined Wycliffe last year.
Surprise!
Surprise!
We joined on April Fool's Day.
Yep.
Was our first official day.
Yep. We had done. I had done some testing and training, and we had been around them a little bit beforehand.
There was a lot to lead up to the official start date.
There was a lot to lead up to the official start date. Yes. But in April of last year, we did our initial orientation week that they call Engage, and it's 1 week at the headquarters in Orlando where they really take time to explain to all their new members what Wycliffe's vision is, what Wycliffe's mission is, what we could be expecting in our first couple years as we develop our team of partners who are going to help basically launch us and sustain us while we're on our missions journey.
Yeah. It was a really great week. We met so many incredible people from so many different backgrounds.
Yep. People who had been missionaries before, people who had never done anything before, people who are going to be working stateside, people who are going to be translating.
Yeah. And the life, well, like life experience was different, but also like the age range. Oh yeah. You had some young, I think in our group there were a couple young singles. Were there any young singles? Know. There were young families.
Yeah, there were young families.
We were just just a couple. At the time, we didn't have kids.
Yep.
There were a couples.
Yep.
Some young families.
Yep.
Some
young engaged people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So there was like that demographic, but then you also had the other end of the spectrum of people who had a full career. They were like retiring to the mission field almost. Yeah. Like this was their second or third
mission, or there was one lady who's basically empty nester at this point, and so she's going to do translation work.
She had been a nurse, and then she was her story was amazing. Because then she went to seminary after being a nurse, and then
one of the individuals that made me feel like, what am I doing with my life? I'm accomplishing nothing.
Well, also something that I loved about her story specifically was that it was a call. She had been called to the mission field when she was young, but the Lord didn't open that door until much later in her life. And I think that's such a powerful message to people who have felt like, oh, I thought I heard God, but I guess I didn't, because he told me
I'm not
a year
seeing
ago,
it right now.
Whatever, and her faithfulness, like I very inspired by her. But those kind of people and stories, and we just got to spend a week all in the same classrooms, and yeah, it was a really, I mean, it was a tiring week.
Mm-hmm.
We were in class all day, every day.
Yep.
And it was a lot of information,
A
definitely
lot of
drinking
information.
from
Oh, yeah.
a fire hose. But you know those weeks where you're like, you feel like you're in the trenches with these people, the kind of relationships you get at a summer camp or at a working at something in more of an intense environment.
Yep.
You just feel closer to those people over a really short amount of time.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I also didn't realize, like, that was a year after we first interviewed with Jars, like that when we first talked to them, because we're coming up on Sun and Fun, which is happening next week.
Yep.
And that was when we met people from Jars and started
conversation.
That whole process.
So it was a year of talking with, praying about,
testing
and sort of interviewing back and forth. Yeah, testing, and then it's been another year of being a part of the team, but we also started what they call the PD journey, or partnership development phase, which that is our first assignment with Wycliffe, is to build a team of partners who are basically helping support us through prayer, through financial gifts, and through just advocacy of introducing us to other people, building a team of people who we are building relationship with, who are passionate about the work we're going to help with, and who want to basically enable us to go and do that work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a year of that. We're past halfway there as far as our budget percentage. Wycliffe gave us our budget, which is sort of the marker of our PD journey. We have to be at 100%. We are past 55% at this point. So the Lord has been good. We are a little ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So that has been also part of this past year. We've been able to have lots of sit downs with individuals. We've been able to have at least one opportunity to share, 2 opportunities, 3 opportunities, something like that, to share to a whole church congregation about the work that Wycliffe does and the work we'll be doing with Wycliffe.
We got to share it at school.
We got to share it at school. We got to share at a number of small groups, Sunday schools and small groups. So we've had lots of conversations with lots of people.
It's been really fun.
Yeah, it has been very fun. But a part of that is also kind of us formulating our own words and ways that we're wanting to talk about the work that we are doing with Wycliffe. Us basically coming to our understanding of how our support roles are really helping to advance the greater mission of giving more and more people access to the Bible.
Yeah.
So that's been very exciting for us to keep seeing and keep being reminded about how the work we're going to be doing with Wycliffe has this greater ultimate purpose.
Right.
Yeah. Another big thing we got word on this year is that there's a baby on the way.
Yep. And if you've been in our lives before this journey or this partnership development, the time where we started making podcasts, or if I think we talked about it on the podcast too, like this was a long process.
This was a long process for us, yeah.
And
a long and complicated process.
The will you trust me again?
Yeah.
Will you trust me one more time? There was a lot of that going on.
There was a lot of that, yeah.
With regards to getting pregnant. But yeah, we found out in August that we had a little boy coming.
Yep.
I mean, we didn't find out he was
a boy at that point,
until like December, but we could have.
We could have.
But we didn't.
We didn't.
We waited.
We did.
Until we just couldn't wait anymore.
Yep. Yep. So that was a very big and exciting development for us. And we are only I mean, as we're recording, weeks out
Yeah.
from getting to meet this
Yeah,
little
just
one
a couple
for the
weeks.
first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in 2 days I will be technically in the full term
Yep.
window. So baby wouldn't be preemie if he came. He would be early, but he wouldn't be premature
Yep.
if he came in 3 days.
Yep. 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 So getting real close. Getting very close, which is very exciting for us.
Oh, we cannot wait to meet this little one.
Yep.
So excited.
Yep. Yeah, so that was a very big thing that happened the past year. Other big thing, I stopped full-time work, which was, I didn't realize, I don't think, how big of a deal that would be for me, or just how much I kind of draw sort of daily motivation and purpose from the kind of work that I do. Just my ability to walk up, diagnose a problem, and fix it is very, very satisfying and rewarding for me.
You also like mechanical
yes,
work
I do.
a lot.
I do.
So stepping back from doing that regularly is in some ways a sacrifice. Or just it's
a big adjustment.
It's an adjustment, yeah.
Yep.
You're still keeping your feet wet.
I am still keeping my feet wet. I'm doing some side jobs here and there for the wonderful gentleman who asked if I needed to put my big boy pants on. So that's been good. That's been very good.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll take a job every 3-4 weeks type thing. Couple days out at the hangar doing some maintenance stuff.
It kind of brings his sanity back
It really
a little
does.
bit.
It really does. Yeah.
Like it's a little bit of stir crazy. It's like cabin fever, or like what a lot of people experience during COVID. Like I don't know what to do. Like I know I've got things that I can do, but I don't know what to do. And so you'll get to that point, and then you have a maintenance job.
Yep.
And you're able to...
And then I'll wake up the morning after the maintenance job and be like, I have a purpose.
Exactly. And you're able to hit it hard until you're not able to anymore.
Yep.
And
then I'll take another maintenance job. That's kind of been my cycle. But
yeah.
But yeah, that's been a big change. It's also a change in, I think, I don't know if this is especially true for people who work sort of trade jobs, but there's definitely a feeling of like an idea. Another thing that happened in the past year is I stopped working a full-time maintenance trade job, and that was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, just a lot bigger of a transition.
Yeah.
Because I really apparently like working trade jobs and having that daily, this is my task and this is what it looks like to complete that task, and just having that regular rhythm and feedback is like something really good for my brain.
Well, you also just like mechanic work.
I do like
mechanic working on things.
Yeah.
As well as getting that dopamine hit or whatever it is of getting to check things off, which I think we've talked about in the past, that you don't have as much in this current role, but you're maintaining your sanity with odd
jobs here and there.
Yeah. I mean, you're helping my dad around the house.
Repair his pressure washer. Yeah.
There's always stuff to tinker with,
yes,
but then you're also you'll take side jobs.
For the gentleman who asked me if I needed to put my big boy pants on.
Yes.
So it's been good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every 3 or 4 weeks, I'll go take a couple day maintenance job. And
yeah. He'll get to the point of like cabin fever. Like I can't sit still anymore. Nothing has purpose. I don't feel like I'm doing anything.
Yeah.
I've got lots to do, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Then he goes and works on an airplane for a couple days and comes back a new man.
The next morning I'm like, I have a purpose again. Yeah. So that's been big. We also moved twice the past year.
Yes.
Yeah. So we moved in with my parents for about 3 months. And then we've moved in with your parents for now about 3 months.
We moved at the end of December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little over 3 months.
A little over 3 months.
Yep.
And both were really good.
Yes. Good times.
Good times. I mean, I was miserable living at your parents, not because we were living at your parents, but because I was so morning sick.
Yeah.
I could barely function. So yeah, definitely didn't socialize as much. But still got some really good quality time with them. And then now we're here with my parents, and we're gonna have so much help with the baby, or more like help with the things around the house that I'm not gonna want to do when I have a baby.
Yeah.
And we're able to. My sister's getting married in a couple weeks, so we're here to help with all of the wedding prep. And yeah, God's timing is just really good, and He's been gracious to give us that quality time with both sides of the family. But yeah, those moves were they were pretty smooth for the most part.
Yeah, they were. We had help moving stuff both times. And
yes.
Yep. Thank you to all of you who helped us move.
Especially up to Ocala.
Yes.
But also out of our
Yeah. It was a lot of moving. Yeah, we had to get those really big solid wood bedroom set out of the upstairs room of our townhome that we were in. So that was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
Yep.
We had heard from the beginning of living there, because we were not present when we moved into that townhouse, that we were going to need a lot of help getting that bedroom furniture out again. Just because of how hard it was to get up. And so I had this expectation it was going to be a really rough transition for, getting the furniture out.
Yep.
Sounds like y'all did it.
We did it pretty quick, actually.
Pretty quick.
I had a lot of hands helping me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some teenage football players.
Yes. Strapping young men.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're good guys.
But yeah, so that's a lot of what's happened the past year. Yep. Moving from Plant City to Tampa to Ocala. Having a baby on the way. Yep. Pretty much the entire pregnancy term is up.
Yeah. And by the time people listen to this podcast, we might have said baby.
That's very possible.
And if you get the newsletter, depending on when baby comes, you might get to
see a picture.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unless he comes, very late and he's a May baby.
Yeah.
But I hope not.
Yeah, same. I'm ready. I'm ready to meet him.
I'm
ready to start this thing. You're just ready to have him out of you.
I'm ready to be able to roll over in bed without a 4-step process and feeling breathless afterwards. Yep. But honestly, the pregnancy's been great. I really don't have that much to complain about.
Yeah.
I'm just, definitely ready to meet him. So.
Yep. So that's a lot of what has happened the past year.
Yeah.
Yep. So now our next segment after the music is going to be what is to come for us.
Yes.
Insert music. What is coming next for us? That is the question we're going to answer now.
It's a good question. It might be my new favorite.
Yeah, that might be your new favorite question. So what is coming up in the very, very near future, as in may have happened by the time you've heard this, if not, will be happening very shortly after, is us having a baby.
Yep, but we've already talked about that.
We have already talked about that.
Yes.
So that is coming up very, very near future. The next thing that we have on our schedule for Wycliffe is a course called ICC, or Intercultural Communications. It's a month-long training, and it's going to be focusing heavily on, us getting some cross-cultural experience, them asking a lot of questions and putting us in scenarios that are going to make us think about what it's like to live overseas in a context other than the one we've been used to our whole lives here in the U.S. So it's going to be a very stretching training.
Yep.
And that is going to be from like July to August. So it's pretty intense. I mean, it's a full month.
With a 2-month-old.
With a 2-month-old while we're sleep deprived. So it's going to be awesome.
Honestly, I'm guessing it will be really good.
Yeah.
We've had some offers from sisters to come and help watch the baby. Yep. Obviously not for more than like 2 hours at a time because I'll need to feed him, but even that will be good. And we also heard from other people who have been through this course already that having a baby is like
it's doable.
It's doable.
Yeah.
There were young parents or new parents in the course at the time that our friends went through it. So they had not had their baby yet.
Nope.
Right?
I don't think so. Maybe. We might eat those words. But they were either very much expecting or had a newborn.
Yeah.
So
maybe they went through it with a newborn too.
Yeah, maybe they did.
Either way, I'm excited about it.
We're both
excited. It's going to be a good summer.
Yeah.
We are also like afterwards going to be coming back for like a staycation with my family.
Yeah.
So we'll have a
little bit
break,
of a reprieve after.
Yeah, before going back up.
Yep.
To release, hopefully, whenever we reach that 100%, which.
Yep. Which should be sometime toward the end of this year. We'll reach 100% of our ministry budget goal, and
that is at least what we're praying for.
That is definitely what we're praying for.
If the Lord extends that, so be it.
Yep.
But what we're praying for is by the end of the year, we'll be moved up to North Carolina and living in our fifth wheel.
Yep.
Have we talked about
I think we've brought up that's our plan, but we'll reiterate. So, our plan when we move to North Carolina, since we're going to be there not permanently, our options are rent a place or, buy a place. But we're both like, we don't want to buy a house that we're just going to either have to resell or try to manage in some way from overseas. That just sounds like a lot. We're not huge on the idea of renting just because that's a lot of funds and resources that just go away. So we have put a down payment on a fifth wheel that we found it's used, needs a touch of work. So I'm going to fix a few things that need to be fixed in it, but it feels very livable. Mm-hmm. The floor plan is such that the baby will have his own room. We'll have our own room.
Just real quick for anybody that, like me, had not heard the term fifth wheel before. It's the giant RV trailer.
Yes.
Setup.
Yep.
So really tall, like it's got vaulted ceilings so that
I can stand up straight.
Yeah. We're both pretty tall. So having not your typical trailer, but like a taller trailer was something that it was honestly everything that we had asked the Lord for in this fifth wheel. Mm-hmm. So we are so grateful. Yes. But it's got a second little bedroom for baby. It's pretty modern looking, hardwood floors, really nice. It's got an outdoor kitchen setup. Yep. It's got an indoor kitchen. Yeah. But like an outdoor grill setup.
Yep. We're getting it at a pretty affordable cost too, and we'll be able to sell it for close to what we've got to it by the time we are finished with our training and have our overseas assignment established. Mm-hmm. So
unless we choose to keep it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Give it to your parents so that we have a place to sleep when
Right.
we come back on furlough or something like that.
But there were plenty of options when it came to this. This just felt like the right
Yeah.
course of action for
It'll keep us from accumulating more things.
That was a big one.
That was a big one, yeah.
Because it's incredible how when you have storage space,
Yep.
it fills up.
Yep.
Amazingly so.
Uh-huh. Very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been keeping Philip bought a bunch of what do you call them?
Bins. Yeah, plastic
tubs.
bins.
The ones with the lids that click on, and we filled, we put all of our stuff in there to be able to move it.
Yep.
And then we started going through it all.
Uh-huh.
And you had gotten rid of 3 bins worth of stuff, which was a big feat. Like it was gone. Like it was either thrown away or given away or donated or something.
Yep.
And then we had a baby shower.
Yep, and they all got filled immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And it's it's stuff that we will use for a short amount of time and then we can give to somebody else who needs it. But because we had the storage space, those bins filled up within 2 days of you emptying them.
Yep.
So having the external incentive, not even incentive, necessity to say no, we can't get whatever it is. I even felt it yesterday. I was buying shoes for my sister's wedding. And I was like, what if, because when you're 9 months pregnant, your feet just hurt
all the time
standing up.
Yep.
And so I was looking for some really comfy shoes that I could wear during the ceremony, and then I was just going to switch into tennis shoes for the reception.
Yep.
Like, I don't even care. Pictures will be done, and my dress is really long, so no one's going to know anyway. But I was like, what if I got some, like, the color of the shoe is, like, neutral or that nude tan color.
Yep.
And I was like, what if I got some tennis shoes to match, like, that color?
Yeah.
And they had some cool ones. But I was like, but what if I just got those to swap into, and then I'll still feel, because I love shoes. I literally was in there trying on shoes for probably 30 minutes. After trying on the shoe. I tried them on like 3 times.
Oh my goodness.
And I'd found 2 different pairs of sneakers that I liked. And I was like, oh, but you know what? I can't
I've got shoes to get rid of it already.
Yeah, I can't store these, so maybe I shouldn't buy them. And I didn't, and I actually felt good about it, but it did take me a good 40 minutes of deliberation before I committed to just buying the pair of sandals I will be wearing for the ceremony. And I had found some that were a lot more comfortable than, like, they were Walmart shoes. So they were like sandals, but they were like old lady sandals. And I just couldn't bring myself to buy them, even though they wouldn't show up. Partly for the fact that I'm like, I'll wear these once and never again. Like, there's no way I'm gonna wear these. Yeah. So anyway, that's just an example of I won't have the storage, so I won't buy the thing. Yeah. Whereas I think I would have bought the thing
otherwise,
if I knew that I'd be able to keep them. So
so we'll be getting that RV, getting it fixed up, getting it ready to live in, getting the baby's room set up in it, and then sometime around the end of the year, around the fall, we will hopefully be moving to North Carolina.
We'll take that fifth wheel up to JAR's headquarters, and
I'll start training. You'll start onboarding, and so that's what. And again, man makes his plans, but the Lord
laughs at them.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. So this is what we foresee coming, and we will keep everyone updated as the Lord tells us what we're actually going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the plan is to be there for 1 to 2 years
Yep.
of training
Yep.
and working
Yep.
stateside.
Working with the local team.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then moving
And
overseas.
then we'll get the options for what the overseas assignments are, and we'll pick it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's our 2-year
Yeah.
plan.
Yep.
We welcome all the prayers
Yes.
over
Yes.
these many transitions for our ICC course in July. For
Having
the
a baby. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, delivery will have gone smoothly,
Yes.
and so it'll just be us adjusting to parenthood. That will
Yep.
need prayer over.
Yep.
I always wonder if retroactive prayers can be a thing, because God is outside of time.
It is true. He is outside of time.
Because there have been times where I've heard a prayer request that I know is resolved or was for a specific time. I'm like, can I still pray for it, or is it because I'm inside time that limits my... anyway, that's a philosophical, theological
question we may not ever be able to totally know the answer to.
Not on this side of eternity, at least. Anyway, prayers for parenthood and for our training. Praise report about our fifth wheel.
Yep.
And all the things to come.
Yeah. Yeah, we really appreciate all of you guys. If you want to, if you're a newer listener, I just want to remind everyone we've got a website, mallsonmission.com. You can see any of our newsletter posts there. You can listen to all of our podcasts there.
Yep.
You can find additional stuff like all of the music Anna's recorded over the past several years. She'll never tell you that, but I'm telling you that now. But you can find it all there at mallsonmission.com.
You make it sound like there's a lot. I think there's 3 songs.
There's 4 songs.
4 songs.
Yeah, there's 4 songs.
And there's one that you wrote on there too, isn't it?
Maybe. I don't know if that one's on there or not.
I don't know. But he wrote some music too. Back in the day.
Yeah, I'm a professional lyricist, I guess you'd call it. I don't know.
Lyricist, composer, songwriter.
Yeah, I haven't received any residual income for that, so I guess I'm not a professional at this point because I don't get paid for it.
But neither have I, so that's okay.
But yeah, we love you guys. We will talk to you later.